Three brown girls got beef with a nice and neat podcast. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy Mike here with the inaugural episode. And this one actually is near and dear to my heart because I have been sent a video recently, which was some slander. You know, I guess the three brown girls got beef with the Nice and Neat podcast. The good men at the Nice and Neat podcast doing the Lord's work. Good Lord. You know, getting brothers financial education up, getting brothers, fitness up, mental health, all those suggestions, all the good things that we need to hear in today's world. I appreciate you brothers for that. Shout out. Go check the Nice and Neat podcast out if you want some inspiration for some very positive brothers. You could tell they also support other podcasts, so shout out to them. Anyways, so I got sent a video recently where the brothers was getting slandered by the Three Brown Girls podcast. Now they do a disclaimer up saying that this wasn't black men slander, and then per usual went into slandering black men, and it was all kinds of ad hominem attacks regarding them being athletes. So I guess they got it. He was using white supremacist talking points, shut up and tackle. I guess they shouldn't have an opinion because they're athletes. Well, two of them are athletes. The other one, they said he doesn't have an opinion because he's not an athlete, I guess, or he's just lucky to be on the show with two athletes who they both devalued in the first place. So I don't know how the athlete, I don't know. It's very confusing. I had a lot of confusion actually, and I was, we're getting to that and break that down, a few of the confusions. One of them being the conversation really was between the podcast was, the Nice and Neat podcast was regarding the difference between a good woman and the right woman for you, which I'm assuming they took some kind of umbrage with because they all sound like ex-girlfriends, besides from Alicia. Alicia, shout out to you, Alicia, by the way. You don't agree with those females. To a degree, you kind of want to be on the team feminist. But I knew from the first 2 minutes that you were different from them, and then you said you had a man. I was like, oh, okay, there goes the difference. That's the difference right there. You didn't have that same bitterness. You was correcting them. You was like, yeah, but girl, they did say that. Yeah, he kind of did mention that. To which everything that they would completely disagree. Yeah, but that was some bullshit. That disclaimer, he didn't really. I'm like, so if a person says, like for example, a quick side note, at one point, the man Jalan said that he might not even, that the woman that he used to be with, that she might just not have been, not necessarily been a good woman or whatever. He might not necessarily been the right man for her. He acknowledged that. And that point gets completely overlooked in lieu of making the point that men are just trying to bash women and whatever, so forth. And the old girl, the one that looked like the Jim Carrey mask, the original one, the troll face one. The only reason I gotta give you a little bit of bars is because you really had some ad hominem attacks for the homies on there. You was the one that got the whole King Kong chest beaten. You was right. I thought it was the fourth. I don't want to. I normally don't do it, but damn, you really had some real heat for the homies. I mean, I don't know what that was about, but Anyways, so here's the thing. The whole episode to me, and I watched all 39 minutes of the episode, ladies. I really gave respect to it. And I watched both episodes of the Nice and Neat podcast regarding. And this is the fact of the matter, which I took from the whole thing. It really sounded like, first of all three of those men's bitter ex-girlfriends, which to what the men said on the story. I'm sorry, I keep getting into side notes, but these women said that they don't want to pit women against each other. And they kept they were so damn confused. At one point they said that there is no good women and all women are good women. It just so happened to be, though, that all of the three men on the podcast, the women that they choose, so happen to be toxic women. And, so I was confused. This is why I'm like, as a woman watching this, I'm confused. Like, you're saying there's no, all women are good women, that, you women yourselves have, two of the women on there, Alicia, I'm telling you, you don't agree with them. But anyway, two of the women on there are saying that they don't have a standard for what's a good man. So apparently they're just going out here shooting blind. But acknowledging that, or just acknowledging your train of logic and saying that there is no bad man and all men are good, or all women are good women. Then saying that the women that they chose in the past are toxic women that they say themselves were good women, just so happen not to be the right women for them. Now, I want to get into what really triggered these women. they had some man. Well, clearly, let me not even say. I don't have to speculate. One of them said on there that she had some dude for 6 years, and he was bullshitting and pump faking, I guess, and dipped on her, and I guess whatever the case be. And that's where her saltiness is coming from. And the other one is for sure confirmed on the show, a single mother. So single mothers always figure out some way to justify being a single mother and empowering, and it's the greatest thing in the world, and how the decision that they chose to have a man's seed and not have the child be able to spend all day long with their father that they have available is the best for the kid. Anyways, they were making the point that there are no good women versus right women, or I guess they took some kind of umbrage with the fact that they mentioned, the men on the podcast mentioned that, you know, there is not like a specific thing that you can write down in a list of letter of what a good woman is, like a 10 commandments, and that it's just a feeling. It's something, which by the way, is funny because the Patrice O'Neal, I mean the one on the right, apparently her pops agreed with it. Her married father, who seems to be married to her mother, just so happened to agree, and you, the single woman with no ring or children, I don't think, don't agree. Something to consider. But essentially, they're upset because they're saying that the man should have a way to be able to tell the woman what she feels, and then she goes off saying that does it make how you feel? Is it how she cooks for you? Is that how she takes care of you? Peace of mind, blah, blah, blah. Which is funny because she lists all things that she should probably just employ in her life, and you probably, yeah, those are probably things that will make a man, but you're probably not willing to do so, and I mean on a consistent basis, hence no ring. This is a textbook example of black men who statistically are in the minority. Like, let's just break this down on a mathematic level. Like, you know, all sisters, y'all getting way more degrees than us, so y'all definitely at the very least know this basic mathematics. So if we break this down and we say, okay, statistically, there are less black men available than there are black women. Black men who are in the statistical minority in relation to black women, you know, statistically, there are less black men available than black women. That's just a statistical fact. Now, that's just boring. Now, when we apply numbers like the men that are, you know, mass incarceration, death, then we talk about homosexuality, then we talk about the kind of men you actually want to be with, because everybody wants a 6 foot tall nigga, big, you know, slanging, good job, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, just to be honest with you, quick stat, only 10% of men are over 6 foot tall, period. So just by that, you're already eliminating a lot of men, period. So then now, all right, cool, job, all this other great stuff that comes with it. Y'all are women like this who are in the majority, to be honest with you. I know this is gonna hurt you, but this is the fact. I can go find a woman like you anywhere, unfortunately, or though, especially I mean, 2 of the men on the panel are in relationships, which is crazy. Like, they're telling you, I'm in the current relationship that I want to be in, no matter how you try to put a standard on that and say that it's not as real because they're not married or they don't have kids or whatever. Or I guess her body isn't as tight because she hasn't went through mothering, or that was another diss. What is that about? Why y'all be dissing each other, fam? Like, for the sisterhood, but then you know, shit, when her body, we'll see if she could keep that body after she drop a kid. That's the true test. Like, damn, just get a sister credit, man. Anyways, back to my point. So black men who are in the statistical, we are in the statistical, especially if you're the kind of black man that women want to be with, you know, 6 foot, whatever case. All of those men are actually the kind of black men that, you know, financially, height-wise, jawline dudes. Like, so when the kind of men that women are looking on a podcast that they actually want to be with are saying, this is what I want, and this is what it feels like to have the right one, and then we have women dedicating a whole 39-minute podcast to saying, no, that's not what you men want, and you guys are confused and blah, blah, blah. Men who are currently in their relationship saying, I'm enjoying my relationship. This is the best time of my life. I've been in all kinds of relationships with good women before, but being with the right one has brought something out of me. She's saying, no, it was just timing and some other shit. You were just going to be who you were regardless. And he's saying, no. This specific woman has inspired something in me to be a better man and brought something out of me that I did not know I had. Which, I mean, quick side note, even in my marriage, God bless, you know, all the issues, great things, ups and downs. My wife has definitely brought things out of me that I did not know I was capable of myself. So it's like, maybe married people or people in long-term relationships or in healthy relationships or happy relationships, or whatever you call it, maybe take, especially men, maybe take their word for it when we say, hey, this is what makes us happy. And the reason why I talk about the statistics behind it is because it's just so late in the game. Like you're gonna get mad, but one of the things I talk about heavy is polygyny, excuse me. And the reason why is because, again, the stats are against you guys, especially if you want the kind of man that you want. You might have to double up out this bitch. So you sitting around trying to dictate to the kind of men you want who are currently getting the results they want, currently getting the women they want. Like the man that you're talking about on there that's single, he can get you if you wanted to be. I mean, you could say prideful, blah, 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 but you would figure out a way to explain it to your homegirls why you fucking with the boy Lano. So anyways, it's the numbers are not on your side. So like trying to create a whole platform to try and dictate to men what they want versus just listening, just saying like, hey, let me just consider, like, okay, he says the right one, it gives a feeling, like maybe try to consider what the feelings were, whatever the case be. Just like your dad said, like, I mean, you put him in a headlock, it sounded like, and got the answer out of him writing down what it felt like, but that's not the truth. Your boss cannot determine what it felt like to know that your mother was the right one. The same way your mother, she just figured it out, huh? She didn't need the Nice and Neat podcast to write down a list of 3 random strangers, men, to dictate to her how to make your father fall in love. My wife didn't need the Nice and Neat podcast to make me get down on one knee. So all these women that are getting married are in long-term relationships, and they're somehow figuring out a way to get a man to determine that she's the right one without a list. They're figuring it out. So that's my point. I really was offended a little bit for the homies, because I know the brothers over there are doing real good work, man, and they really mean to be positive. And I think that these 3 ladies got offended because honestly, they did sound like some ex-girlfriends. They did sound like some dudes had told them in the past, you're just not the right one. You good, you cool and everything, but I just don't think this is right. I don't think this is, I don't know. So that had brought a little bit, but let's not try to be so personal and try to give advice from an anecdotal stance. Let's try to be more, give more general advice. Let's say like, hey, for the most part, yeah, this is how it works. Just because in your specific case, it didn't work out that way. And that damn, y'all coming out with the 3 brown boys, that's how I knew y'all was gonna start off with some disrespect. But hey, that was a little bit of salt. I gotta call it out because, that's what it was, and I'm not gonna be, it's a perfect example. This is also a perfect first episode opportunity, because if by any chance you guys respond to this or even see this, it's even better for me because it's my first episode. So like, I'll just get, some of your audience, I'll get a new audience, bring them together. I would love that. So look, I would hope you would make a response to me and just bring my little old self up. But anyway, that's the end of the show. Appreciate you guys for listening to this. Have a great day. Peace.